All right, the worksheet that we're going to be doing for today is relationship of angles made from parallel lines. And it says the first one is, what are parallel lines? So I want to know from the class, what are parallel lines? So the teacher, if you'll pause this and get some answers from the members of the class and from those people that are at home. All right, parallel lines. Parallel lines are a set of two or more lines that keep the same distance apart from each other. So when you got parallel lines, no matter what parallel lines, if you pick any 2 points that are right in the same area, they're going to stay the same distance away from each other. So let's take, for example, go up here. If I'm looking at this and I picked a point on line A, this is the point I pick on line A. If I come down to the same point on line B, these points will be the same distance apart. If I go here to here, they're the same distance apart. Notice that if I pick a point on the line T, the distance may change. But when I do it from the same point with 2 parallel lines, then it stays the same. So line A and line B are parallel lines. So I'm going to draw line A and line B are parallel lines. So line A is parallel to line B. These two straight lines here mean that they're parallel. The line mark over a letter is naming the line itself. So line A is parallel to line B. Okay, what is a transversal? All right, the teacher's going to pause, give you guys an opportunity to think about and to say what you think a transversal is. All right, what is a transversal? A transversal is a line or group of lines that intersect parallel lines. So a transversal is a line that intersects parallel lines. So I'm going to pick a different color this time. I'm going to go with orange. So here we have 2 sets of parallel lines. The transversal is the line that intersect the set of parallel lines. So line T is a transversal. We don't have a symbol for transversal, but you need to know that the transversal is a line that intersects two parallel lines. All right. Okay, I'm going to move up and we're going to go to congruent angles. Okay. The teacher is going to pause the video and it's asking what are congruent angles? What are congruent angles? So I want you to think about a definition for congruent angles. All right, congruent angles are angles that have the same measurement. So angles that have the same measurement are congruent angles. So if they have the same, the same measurement, if we measure them and they would have the same measurement, those are congruent angles. So in this space here in the center, we want you to look over here and we want you to put angles that you think are congruent angles. Angles that you think are congruent angles. All right, we're going to pause the video, give you a chance to put down some angles that you think are congruent angles. When I look at this, I'm looking at the angles and I'm looking and I'm thinking angle 1 and angle 3 would have the same measurement. So I would say, and I'm gonna have to draw it because I don't know how to type the angle symbol. So I'm gonna get my pen. I'm gonna go with a black. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna say angle 1 is congruent and that's supposed to be a squiggly line to angle 3. And that's one example of them. So angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. And I'm sure that you guys came up with some of the other ones. But right now, I'm just going to give you an example of one. All right, let's go to vertical angles. You actually should know the definition of vertical angles because you talked about them in the 6th grade and you also talked about them in the 7th grade. So we're going to pause the video so that you guys could tell me what do you think are vertical angles, or tell the teacher what you think are vertical angles. Okay, vertical angles are the angles across from each other when two lines intersect. So when you have two lines that intersect, the angles that are across from each other or opposite each other are vertical angles. So in this case, I want you to look at the picture to the right. What do you think are vertical angles? Which angles do you think are vertical angles? All right, we're going to pause this so that you could give me an example of what you give a teacher an example of what you think vertical angles are. Okay, with this one, I'm going to use a highlighter. I'm going to give you one of them. So I got a line M, and it's intersected by line P. So the angles that are opposite each other are vertical angle. So angle 1 and angle 3 are vertical angles. So those are vertical angles. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is alternate interior angles. So I want you guys to think about what you think it means for alternate interior angles. Teacher's going to pause the video and then we'll talk about it. Okay. I didn't say this in the last one for vertical angles, but in the space, you are to list all the other vertical angles that apply for that one. Over here for alternate interior angles, in this space, you are to list all of the alternate interior angles. So alternate interior angles, to me, it's telling you what it is. Alternate interior angles. Alternate means to be on different sides. Interior means to be within. And of course, we got angles. So, let me get it so I can write. Alternate interior angles are angles when a set of parallel lines are cut by a transversal. The angles alternate across the transversal but are inside of the parallel lines. So they're inside of the parallel lines, but they alternate across the transversal. So I'm going to go highlighter. I'm going to go green. I want you guys to think about looking at that picture. What do you think are alternating interior angles? Alternating interior angles. So with the highlighter, I will mark what I think are alternating interior angles. First, they have to be inside of these parallel lines. Second, they alternate across. So 5 is on one side of the transversal. It's inside the parallel lines. On the other side of the transversal and inside the parallel line is 3. Those are alternating interior angles. Alternating interior angles. All right, let's go to the next one. I think this is a mistake, so I am going to change that. I think this should be alternating exterior angles. So alternating exterior angles. So if alternating interior angles are inside the parallel lines and on different sides of the transversal, what do you think alternating exterior angles are? All right, my video time is about to run up because I'm only allowed to make 15-minute videos. And we're at 14 minutes and 15 seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this, save this as video 1, and then we'll start video 2.